Have you ever felt that, even though you're doing everything you should, something inside you still feels empty or disconnected? This video is a deep, loving, and transformative invitation to reconnect with your feminine energy, that ancestral force that lives within you, even if you're not always aware of it. Here you'll discover 10 powerful steps that will allow you to unleash your true power, not through struggle or effort, but through wisdom, intuition, and deep connection with yourself. Feminine energy is not exclusive to women, but it does represent aspects that have been forgotten in today's culture. Receptivity, care, creation, connection with natural cycles, and the ability to live from being, not just from doing. Many people, without realizing it, have repressed this energy. From a young age, we are taught to adapt, to please, to suppress our emotions, and to mistrust our intuition. This disconnection can lead us to lose our essence, to feel drained, empty, or confused. Dr. Mario Alonso Puig, physician and expert in neuroscience, has shown how the connection between body, mind, and spirit can awaken hidden potential when we learn to truly listen to ourselves. His humanistic and profound approach guides us to reconnect with our feminine essence through the body, breath, contemplation, and authentic emotion. This 10-step journey will be healing, revealing, and full of practical tools. So stay until the end, because not only will you understand what's happening to you, you will remember who you really are. Leave me a comment if you've ever felt like you lost your essence by adapting to the outside world. And subscribe now, turn on the bell, and join me on this journey back to yourself. After understanding what feminine energy is and how its unconscious repression can disconnect us from our essence, it's time to begin this transformational journey with the first step, letting go of the have to. This is, without a doubt, one of the biggest blocks preventing your feminine energy from flowing freely and truthfully. From very early on in life, many women begin to internalize an invisible list of shoulds that ends up running their lives. You should be productive all the time. You should always be available to others. You should keep yourself flawless. You should have everything under control. These mandates aren't always spoken out loud, but they filter through gestures, looks, and social expectations, shaping a way of being rooted in pressure, perfection, and control. The problem is that when a woman constantly lives according to what she thinks she has to do to be accepted, recognized, or loved, she disconnects from her most authentic feminine energy, the one that flows from pleasure, intuition, spontaneity, and ease. Mario Alonso Puig, in his many talks, explains how a constant state of tension alters our biology. When a woman feels like she's in survival mode, her nervous system stays activated in the stress response, causing an overactivation of the sympathetic nervous system. This not only affects physical and emotional health, but also blocks access to creative and expansive states. For feminine energy to be fully expressed, the body needs to feel safe, relaxed, and at ease. But how can we achieve that if we live in the invisible prison of the have to? The first step is to become aware of how many decisions in your life have been guided by obligation instead of genuine desire. How many times have you said yes when you wanted to say no? How many times have you prioritized external approval over your inner well-being? How many times have you forced yourself to smile, to keep going, to comply, even when your body was begging for a break? Breaking away from the have to is not an act of rebellion against the world. It's an act of deep love toward yourself. It's a conscious choice to start acting from internal honesty, not from external conditioning. This doesn't mean you'll stop fulfilling your responsibilities or become indifferent to others' needs. It means you'll learn to prioritize your inner truth over external expectations. It means asking yourself each time you make a decision, am I doing this because I genuinely want to or because I'm afraid I won't be enough if I don't? Feminine energy blossoms when it has the freedom to choose, when it feels allowed to be, to change its mind, to listen to the body and honor emotions. Puig says that human potential is not unlocked through imposition, but through connection. And that's essential in this step. When you detach from the have to, you begin to explore a new way of being in the world, more flexible, kind, and connected to yourself. And the most powerful thing is that when a woman allows herself this, she radiates a different vibration. She no longer acts from rigidity, but from magnetism. She no longer seeks to please, but to share. She doesn't burn out. She nourishes herself and, from there, nourishes others. One of the biggest myths about feminine energy is that it's associated with weakness or passivity. Nothing could be further from the truth. Feminine energy is deeply active, but its activation is neither violent nor forced. It is receptive, organic, and transformative. A woman connected to her feminine essence does take action, but not out of obligation. She acts from fullness. She doesn't push herself, she listens. She doesn't punish herself, she nurtures. And in that shift of paradigm lies the true inner revolution. When you let go of the have to, you begin to uncover an inner wisdom that had long been silenced. You realize that many of your best decisions didn't come from the mind that planned and controlled, but from the heart that felt and trusted. You begin to recognize when you're doing something out of fear and when you're doing it out of love. This difference, though subtle, is the key to a more aligned, richer, and more authentic life. In this process, the body plays a central role. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that our body never lies. Through muscle tension, changes in breathing, knots in the stomach, or pressure in the chest, the body tells us when we're betraying ourselves. Listening to the body is a radical act of honesty, and when you do it, you start to notice patterns. For example, maybe every time you accept an unnecessary meeting, you get a headache, or every time you delay rest in order to keep up, you feel emotionally drained. These little signals are messages from your body inviting you to make deeper changes. One of the most revealing exercises to begin this step is to write a list of all the I have to thoughts you repeat throughout the day. For example, I have to clean, I have to answer this message, I have to work out, I have to be in a good mood, I have to be efficient. Then, next to each one, ask yourself, where does this have to come from? From fear or from love? From self-demand or from self-care? From connection or from disconnection? By doing this simple exercise, many women discover they are operating from a place of rigidity that keeps them from experiencing life with joy. And that, precisely, is what dims feminine energy the most. The absence of joy, spontaneity, and internal permission to be imperfect, ever-changing, and human. On a neurological level, as Puig explains, when a person stops operating from fear, the limbic system, the emotional center, becomes balanced and the prefrontal cortex is activated, allowing for greater creativity, empathy, and long-term vision. In other words, when you release the pressure, you not only improve your emotional well-being, you also act as a higher version of yourself, one that can create, lead, and enjoy more fully. And here's something important. This is not an instant process. It's gradual and loving. It's not about jumping from self-demand to total permissiveness. It's about observing yourself, understanding yourself, and starting to make small shifts that bring you back to you. For example, saying no when something doesn't resonate with you. Allowing your home to be imperfect for a day if you need rest. Postponing a meeting if your energy is low. These are simple gestures, but they carry immense power, the power of honoring yourself as a priority. Over time, detaching from the have to brings you back to a state of greater inner freedom. You start to feel like you don't need to prove anything, justify yourself, or overcompensate. You can simply be, and from that place, everything you do comes from a more authentic source. This kind of presence is deeply magnetic, and it becomes a foundation upon which the rest of your journey of reconnection with your feminine energy is built. And if at any point of fear or rejection shows up, remember what Puig teaches. True inner leadership is not about convincing others, but about inhabiting your truth with such coherence that others simply feel it. A woman who stops obeying unconscious mandates becomes a source of inspiration, not because she's trying to prove anything, but because she lives in peace with herself. So observe yourself today. How many times do you say, I have to each day? What would happen if you replace that phrase with, I choose to? Changing that single word can shift your energy entirely. Saying, I choose to rest, I choose to take care of myself, I choose to set boundaries, I choose not to explain myself, is the first act of energetic sovereignty. It is moving from victim to creator. It is making space for the feminine to flourish in you, without needing anyone's permission, without guilt, without conditions. This is the moment. Let go of imposed obligation. Embrace your truth. Now that we start to let go of the weight of external expectations, the second step emerges, returning to the body, because while the mind has been trained to survive, the body has always been there to remind us how to live. The body is not just a vehicle we inhabit. It is our temple, our map, our compass. Yet often, we treat it like a machine. We push it, demand from it, ignore it until it breaks. Reconnecting with your body is an act of returning to yourself. It's beginning to inhabit your presence with respect, with attention, with tenderness. Feminine energy lives in the body, not in the mind. It is a vibration that activates when we breathe deeply, when we move with awareness, when we listen to the subtle signals the body constantly gives us. And this doesn't come from theory. It comes from daily practice. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that the human body is designed to self-regulate, to regenerate, and to guide us toward wholeness, if we give it the right conditions. One of the simplest yet most powerful keys to begin this reconnection is to breathe with presence. Yes, it may sound obvious, but how many times do you truly breathe each day? Most people live in a shallow, fast, unconscious breath. This way of breathing is linked to anxiety, mental overactivity, and emotional disconnection. But when a woman pauses to breathe consciously, inhale through the nose, fill the belly with air, exhale slowly, a quiet kind of magic happens. The nervous system calms, the heart rate slows, the mind clears. It's as if the body says, "I'm safe." And when the body feels safe, feminine energy begins to awaken. Deep breathing is a way to tell yourself, "I am here in this moment, and I deserve to be present." You don't need a yoga class or a free hour to do this. You can begin right now, right where you are. 3 conscious breaths. That's it. Do it often. Your body will thank you. Your soul will too. Another essential part of this reconnection is conscious movement. We live in a society that pushes us to move out of obligation, to burn calories, to tone muscles, to meet an external image. But feminine energy doesn't activate through punishment. It activates through pleasure. That's why one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is to move with love. It doesn't matter if you dance, walk, stretch gently, or simply sway to a song you enjoy. What matters is that movement becomes an expression of connection, not demand. The female body has a unique intelligence. It's in constant dialogue with emotions, hormone thoughts, and life cycles. But if you're disconnected from it, you lose that language. That's why it's so important to learn to listen to what you feel in every part of your body. What is your belly telling you today? What about your chest? What do your shoulders need to release? Where do you feel tension without any clear reason? Mario Alonso Puig explains that the body holds emotional memories stored in the tissues, in the cells, in daily gestures. Often, we carry tensions that aren't ours. Family mandates, social expectations, past traumas. And when we don't acknowledge them, the body becomes their silent container, until one day it speaks, and it usually speaks through pain. Reconnection begins when you give yourself permission to feel without judgment. When you understand that you don't need a logical explanation for what your body feels. It's enough to just be there, present with compassion. You can do this when you wake up, taking a few seconds to scan your body. You can do it in the shower, feeling the water as a healing massage. You can do it before sleep, gently caressing your skin as an act of tenderness. These everyday moments become sacred when you bring presence to them. And it's not about perfection. It's about returning again and again to the body as refuge, as home, as anchor. Because when you're in your body, you're in yourself. And when you're in yourself, you can start making decisions from a place that's far more aligned. Body disconnection often goes hand in hand with a distorted self-image. Many women grow up with a tense relationship with their body. They criticize it, reject it, compare it. But the body doesn't need to meet standards. The body needs to be honored. And that honor begins in how you speak to yourself, how you look at yourself, how you touch yourself. Puig speaks of the power of coherence between what you think, what you feel, and what you do. If you take care of yourself outwardly but reject yourself inwardly, energy won't flow. But if you accept yourself sincerely, even in the midst of change, your body responds with vitality. Reconnecting with the body also means changing the way we relate to time. The feminine body doesn't function in a linear mode. It responds to rhythms, pulses, internal tides. If you try to live in a constant rush, your body will resist. But if you learn to pause, to observe your moments of expansion and your moments of retreat, you begin to recognize something very powerful. your cyclic nature. Recognizing your cyclic nature is not a weakness, it's wisdom, because the female body is not designed to sustain the same energy every day. There are times to act and times to rest, times to give and times to receive. When we ignore these cycles and force ourselves into a constant state of productivity, the body experiences it as a silent aggression. That's when hormonal imbalances, chronic fatigue, irritability, and sexual and emotional disconnection start to appear. On the other hand, when we honor our internal rhythms, we align ourselves with the very nature of feminine energy. Mario Alonso Puig insists that one of the most common mistakes is living from the mind without consulting the body. We get carried away by calendars, external demands, endless to-do lists, and rarely do we ask ourselves how we truly are. For him, the body is not just an ally, it's the most faithful mirror of the soul. And if you want to awaken your full potential, you can't ignore it. On the contrary, you must become its ally. A practice Puig frequently recommends is conscious body scanning. That is, closing your eyes for a few minutes and mindfully traveling through each part of your body from feet to head, without judgment, just observing. This practice strengthens a mind-body connection, reduces stress, and brings you back to the present. It's as if you return to inhabit your sacred place within. Something as simple as this can have a profound impact on your energy, your focus, and your emotional state. Another way to reconnect with your body is through touch, but not mechanical or automatic touch, conscious touch. It might mean placing your hands on your heart upon waking, slowly rubbing your arms when feeling anxious, or massaging your feet at the end of the day with gratitude. Touch has tremendous neurobiological power. It releases oxytocin, the love and bonding hormone, which is key to activating feminine energy. It also sends a clear message to the nervous system. I am safe, I am cared for, I am held. And when the nervous system calms, the body can begin to heal. This step also holds a deeply spiritual dimension. Reconnecting with the body is not only a physical or emotional practice. It is, in itself, a sacred practice, because the body is the temple of your soul. And when you inhabit it with respect, every gesture becomes an offering. When you move, you are not just exercising, you are celebrating life. When you breathe, you're not only oxygenating your cells, you are inviting your soul to stay with you. When you listen to your hunger, your fatigue, your joy or desire, you are recognizing that within you lives a wisdom older than any word. Many times, due to conditioning or trauma, we've learned to distrust the body, to see it as an enemy, a source of shame or mistake. But feminine energy cannot flourish in a rejected body. It can only flourish in a loved body. And loving your body has nothing to do with how it looks. Loving your body is recognizing that without it, you wouldn't be able to feel, love, create, dance, sing, caress, or connect. It is surrendering to the wonder of its existence. Mario Alonso Puig often shares that when a person begins to change their relationship with their body, their entire perception of themselves transforms. Because the body not only sustains, it also reveals. It shows you your unhealed wounds, your hidden gifts, your need for belonging, your desire to live. And if you learn to converse with it, you become a much more conscious, freer, and more radiant woman. That's why this step is so important. Because the body is the first and most powerful gateway to your feminine energy. It's where your intuition, creativity, pleasure, and center reside. And it's from that place that you'll be able to move forward with more strength and softness on this path. You don't have to do it perfectly. You only need to be willing to return, again and again, to yourself. And now, before moving on to the next step, I invite you to do a small practice. If you can, pause for a few minutes. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Breathe slowly. Ask your body, what do you need today? And listen. It doesn't matter if the answer doesn't come right away. What matters is that you've started a dialogue, one that can change everything. Share in the comments the first sensation or word your body gave you, without thinking or judging. Share your experience and help us create a community where we honor our bodily connection together. Your voice is powerful. We want to hear it. As we continue this journey of reconnection with your feminine energy, we arrive at a fundamental and deeply transformative aspect. The third step, which is learning to listen to your intuition. Intuition is not a mystical or distant concept. It's a natural and wise form of knowledge we all possess, a subtle language that emerges from the body and soul and acts as an internal compass for navigating life. However, in modern society, this inner voice is often silenced by external noise, doubt, and over-rationalization. Learning to listen to it is reconnecting with a boundless source of guidance, power, and authenticity. Mario Alonso Puig explains that intuition is a brain capability that goes beyond linear thinking and logical analysis. It comes from the integration of multiple signals from the body and the environment, processed in deep areas of the brain that act like an internal radar. This form of knowledge is expressed through bodily sensations, emotions, fleeting images, or gut feelings that seem to lack an immediate explanation. But that's precisely where its power lies. It is instant, direct knowledge that doesn't pass the filter of mental judgment. Many women feel they've lost touch with their intuition because they've learned to distrust their impulses and emotions. They've been conditioned to seek answers outside themselves, to rely on approval or logic to make decisions. But this disconnection creates insecurity, anxiety, and a deep sense of emptiness. That's why recovering this innate ability is so important. It's also a pure manifestation of feminine energy. To begin listening to your intuition, you must first create spaces for silence and pause. Constant noise, whether external or mental, makes it hard to receive those subtle messages. Practicing meditation, conscious breathing, or simply taking a few minutes a day to be with yourself without distractions are effective ways to prepare the ground for intuition to emerge. When you calm down, your body and mind align, and the information coming from within becomes clearer. Mario Alonso Puig points out that the body is a great receiver and translator of intuitive signals. For example, when facing a difficult decision, you might notice a feeling of openness or tightness in your chest, slight tension in your stomach, or an energy that invites you to move forward or hold back. These physical signs are clues that intuition uses to communicate with you. Learning to recognize them is like learning a new language, the language of your own being. A simple exercise to strengthen this connection is the following. When you need to make a decision, no matter how small, close your eyes and observe what your body feels when imagining each option. Is there calm or unease? Expansion or contraction? The body's response is often more honest than the mind, which can get lost in justifications and doubts. Trust those sensations, even if you can't explain them rationally. Another vital aspect is creating space for creativity and play. Intuition thrives on detachment, freedom, and spontaneity. When you allow yourself to experiment without fear of mistakes or judgment, your mind relaxes and intuition flows more easily. That's why activities like painting, dancing, riding without a plan, or simply walking in nature without a fixed direction can be powerful catalysts to awaken this ability. Rejection or denial of intuition is often accompanied by critical thoughts or fears. It's common to hear things like, "That doesn't make sense," "I'm probably wrong," or "I can't trust my feelings." These judgments block the natural channel of information and feed the disconnection. That's why the work is not only to learn to listen, but also to validate and honor what you receive. Intuition is not perfect or infallible, but it is a loyal guide that strengthens with practice and trust. Mario Alonso Puig also emphasizes the importance of integrating intuition with reason. It's not about dismissing logical thinking or acting on impulse. It's about creating an inner dialogue where mind and body complement each other. The mind analyzes, evaluates, and plans. Intuition offers a broader, faster, and deeper perspective. Together, they form a powerful team for conscious decision-making. In daily life, you can train your intuition by asking simple questions and waiting for internal answers. For example, before starting a task, ask, "Is this the best way for me today?" Or, "What do I need to do this calmly and effectively?" Then observe what sensations, images, or ideas arise. It's important to do this with an open mind, without forcing answers or having expectations. Over time, you'll notice that intuition becomes a constant ally. It whispers suggestions, alerts you to risks, or confirms your direction. Learning to trust it can transform not only your decisions, but your relationship with yourself and the world. Feminine energy fully expresses itself when you can move through life guided by this inner compass, which connects you to your deepest essence. This intuitive awakening also has a direct impact on your personal relationships. When you listen to and respect your inner voice, you set clear and healthy boundaries. You choose more consciously the people around you, and you communicate with authenticity. In this way, feminine energy expands into your environment and influences those who accompany you, creating a virtuous circle of respect and connection. Remember that intuition doesn't always appear clearly or strongly. Sometimes it arrives as a vague feeling, a fleeting image, or an inexplicable emotion. That doesn't make it less valuable. The key is to open yourself to receive it without fear or judgment. Each time you do, you strengthen that inner communication channel that connects you to your feminine power. It's also important to recognize the different ways it manifests and how we can build the trust to follow its signs in our daily lives. Intuition can appear through images, bodily sensations, words, dreams, or even unexpected synchronicities. Each woman has her own intuitive language, and learning to identify it is a unique and enriching process. Mario Alonso Puig highlights that many times, intuition first appears as a physical sensation in the body before becoming a clear idea in the mind. That's why listening to bodily signals is essential. For example, a feeling of lightness may indicate that you're aligned with your path, while tension or discomfort may serve as a warning to reconsider a situation. Practicing active body listening allows you to decode these subtle messages and make more conscious decisions. Dreams are also a powerful channel of intuition. Often, in the dream state, the mind releases images and symbols that can help you understand internal conflicts or possible paths to follow. Keeping a dream journal can be a valuable tool to become familiar with this language and gain insights that complement your inner guidance. Another key aspect is learning to distinguish true intuition from a mind conditioned by fear or anxiety. True intuition is usually calm, clear, and without urgency, while anxious thoughts tend to be chaotic, repetitive, and full of doubt. Mario Alonso Puig invites us to cultivate an inner state of calm and openness, which makes it easier to differentiate between these two inner voices and wisely choose which one to follow. To foster this connection, incorporating practices such as meditation, contemplation, or simply moments of silence into your daily routine is vital. These spaces allow you to quiet the mind and sharpen your sensitivity to inner signals. You don't need to dedicate long hours. Even a few minutes a day can make a significant difference in your ability to hear your inner voice. In addition, contact with nature is an irreplaceable ally in awakening intuition. Being in the forest, near water, or simply walking barefoot on the earth helps you tune in with natural rhythms and reconnect with that ancestral wisdom that lives within you. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that this connection with nature enhances neuroplasticity, allowing the brain to adapt and open to new ways of perceiving and knowing. Don't forget that intuition is also nourished by self-love and self-acceptance. When you value and listen to yourself without judgment, you create a safe space for that inner voice to speak freely. Often, the rejection or denial of intuition comes from limiting beliefs or past experiences that made us doubt ourselves. Working on healing those emotional wounds is part of the path to fully releasing feminine potential. Mario Alonso Puig also speaks about the importance of conscious intention. When you open intuition with a clear purpose, whether making an important decision, resolving an inner conflict, or simply getting to know yourself better, you're sending a powerful signal to your brain and body to work with you. This active attitude multiplies the results and strengthens your trust in your internal capacities. In this process, sharing your experiences with other women can be very enriching. Feminine energy also manifests in community and mutual support. Hearing how others live and cultivate their intuition can inspire you, offer new tools, and strengthen your own practice. Also, when you express your inner voice, you affirm it and make it stronger. I want to invite you, if it resonates with you now, to share in the comments an experience where your intuition clearly or unexpectedly guided you. Tell us what signs you received, how you interpreted them, and what outcome you got. Your story can be a light for other women on this path of awakening. Intuition is not a destination, but a continuous journey. As you connect more deeply with yourself, that inner voice becomes more trustworthy, more present, and more powerful. Feminine energy finds in intuition its purest expression and greatest strength. That's why I encourage you to keep cultivating this channel every day. Respect your sensations, honor your emotions, and trust the process, even when you don't fully understand the why. Sometimes, intuition leads you down unexpected paths that only the wisdom of time can reveal. Integrating intuition into your daily life will allow you to live with greater authenticity and fulfillment. It's not just about making better decisions, but about inhabiting your truth, expressing your essence, and unfolding your full feminine power in every action. This deep connection with yourself is a foundation for creating a life that is aligned, healthy, and full of meaning. As you continue on this path to connect with your feminine energy, we arrive at the fourth step, which is learning to embrace not doing. In our fast-paced, productivity-driven culture, the value of rest and pause is often underestimated or even seen as a sign of weakness or laziness. However, the power of not doing is one of the most authentic and powerful expressions of feminine energy. It is in the silence, in the pause, in the space that opens when we stop striving, that creativity, intuition, and deep renewal are born. Mario Alonso Puig reminds us that the dominant masculine rhythm in our society is based on constant action, relentless productivity, doing for the sake of doing. This model, while necessary in certain contexts, cannot be sustained without generating exhaustion, stress, and inner disconnection, especially in women, whose nature is cyclical and requires a balance between action and rest. Not doing does not mean being passive or irresponsible. It means honoring internal cycles and allowing life to unfold in its own time. Accepting not doing is an act of conscious rebellion. It's about challenging the belief that our worth depends solely on what we achieve or produce. It's about recognizing that being is just as important as doing, and that both aspects are complementary. In this space of not doing, the mind can rest, the body can recover, and the soul can renew. It is fertile ground where new ideas, creative solutions, and deep inspiration take root. A first step in embracing not doing is to create daily spaces for conscious pause. It's not just about physical rest, but about cultivating moments when you allow the mental noise to fade. You can do this through meditation, contemplation, or simply sitting in silence, doing nothing without judgment. At first, it may feel uncomfortable because we are so used to overstimulation, but with practice, that silence becomes a refuge of peace. Mario Alonso Puig highlights that when we learn to pause, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxation, digestion, and healing. This system is essential for holistic health and for feminine energy to fully manifest. Without pauses, the body and mind remain in a chronic state of alertness, which blocks creativity and intuition. Not doing also means allowing yourself not to be available all the time. For many women, the pressure to always respond, attend to others, or meet expectations creates massive exhaustion. Saying no is sometimes necessary to preserve vital energy. This act is not selfishness, it's conscious self-care. It is choosing to protect your inner space so that you can later give from abundance, not depletion. Another important aspect is letting go of the guilt often associated with rest or inactivity. Many women feel that resting is wasting time, or that they're failing in their responsibilities when not doing something productive. This thought limits the ability to integrate not doing as a sacred tool for renewal. Guilt is an emotion rooted in internalized external judgments, and it must be acknowledged and released to embrace rest with serenity. It is essential to understand that feminine energy is not linear or cumulative like masculine energy. It works more like a current that rises and falls, expands and contracts. That's why accepting not doing means allowing that current to flow freely without blocks or resistance. It's about trusting that rest is not an obstacle, but a vital engine for creation and transformation. Mario Alonso Puig invites reflection on the difference between conscious activity and compulsive doing. The former is creative, aligned, and connected to deep purpose. The latter is reactive, automatic, and disconnected. Conscious not doing allows us to differentiate between these two modes and choose the one that nourishes our energy and well-being. In daily practice, you can start by including small rituals of pause, turning off your phone for a few minutes, watching the sky, listening to music without doing anything else, taking a walk with no goal or rush. These moments are opportunities to reconnect with your essence and recharge your inner reserves. This step also leads us to value the power of silence and contemplation. Many times we fear being alone with ourselves because that can bring up uncomfortable emotions or thoughts. However, silence is a sacred space where feminine energy can expand. It is there that deep answers, clear visions, and a sense of wholeness arise. Embracing not doing is also an invitation to be more compassionate with yourself, to recognize that your worth does not depend on your performance, but on your authentic presence, that you deserve to rest, enjoy, and simply be. When you integrate this attitude, your feminine energy strengthens, renews, and expresses itself with greater intensity and balance. Furthermore, conscious pause, far from being a void or wasted time, is a space where the new is gestated, where feminine energy unfolds fully and powerfully. Mario Alonso Puig reminds us that many of the best ideas and solutions arise precisely when we stop forcing and allow ourselves to simply be. When we are used to being in constant motion, our nervous system and mind remain in a state of hyperactivity that blocks the capacity for imagination and inspiration. However, silence and stillness open a door for the unconscious mind and the body to express their messages, revealing paths and possibilities that logic cannot reach. In this sense, not doing is not absence, but full and creative presence. This sacred space is also fundamental for healing emotional and physical wounds that we carry within. When we stop, we allow the deep layers of our being to surface and integrate. Often, fatigue, stress, or illness are clear signs that we need to pause and listen. Ignoring these signs prolongs suffering and hinders expression of our authentic feminine energy. Embracing not doing also involves accepting imperfection and rest without conditions. In a society that glorifies productivity, it is common for us to feel pressure to always be active, achieving goals, meeting expectations. But feminine energy invites us to honor our limits, to celebrate times of retreat as a natural part of the life cycle. Recognizing that rest is a sacred act, not a punishment, transforms our relationship with time and with ourselves. Mario Alonso Puig points out that women who learn to integrate not doing into their lives experience a deep internal transformation. They feel more connected to their essence, freer from judgments and expectations, and able to radiate a serene strength that inspires others. This transformation not only impacts personal life, but is also reflected in relationships, work, and environment, generating a multiplying effect of well-being and authenticity. A practical tool to cultivate this habit is to establish daily rituals of rest and contemplation. It can be as simple as dedicating 5 minutes in the morning to sit in silence, observe your breath, or listen to the sounds of nature. You can also schedule pauses throughout the day to disconnect from electronic devices and reconnect with yourself. These small gestures create a big change in the quality of your energy and well-being. Another way to embrace not doing is through creativity, without expectations. Allow yourself to paint, write, dance, or any activity you enjoy, without judging the result or the time spent. This kind of free creativity naturally activates feminine energy because it comes from pleasure and authentic expression, not from obligation or duty. It is essential to recognize that not doing is also an act of trust. Trusting that life moves in cycles, that after the pause comes expansion, that rest is necessary for effective action. This trust releases the anxiety and fear that often push us into hyperactivity and opens a space for feminine energy to flow in harmony with nature and with ourselves. By integrating not doing as a central element in your life, you not only reclaim your power, but also become a beacon of balance and wisdom for those around you. Conscious pause becomes a revolutionary act of self-love and respect for your body, mind, and spirit. I would love for you to share in the comments, what has been the most liberating experience you've had when you allowed yourself to simply not do and rest without guilt? Share how it changed your energy or perspective and tag us, so together we can inspire more women to embrace the power of conscious pause. Your story might be the push someone needs today. Arriving at a crucial point on this path to reconnect with your feminine energy, we now enter the 5th step, which consists of honoring your cycle. Feminine energy is deeply linked to cycles, whether hormonal, emotional, or natural, and learning to respect and synchronize with them is essential for living in harmony with yourself and with the life around you. In a culture that imposes fast and linear rhythms, this reconnection becomes an act of love and wisdom. The hormonal cycles experienced by the female body, especially during the menstrual cycle, influence emotions, energy, and the way we relate to the world. Many times, without understanding this process, women struggle against their own fluctuations, feeling confused or frustrated by changes they perceive as weaknesses. However, when you begin to observe and honor these natural rhythms, you can transform them into a source of power and self-awareness. Mario Alonso Puig invites us to understand that these cycles are not obstacles, but part of a sacred dance that connects women with nature and with themselves. The female body is a complex organism that responds to impermanence and constant transformation. Each phase of the menstrual cycle brings unique qualities, times of higher energy and creativity, phases of introspection and rest, periods for nurturing and healing. Learning to identify and respect these phases allows you to live more authentically and fully. Honoring your cycle also means accepting the emotions that come with each phase without judging or repressing them. Instead of fighting irritability, sadness, or sensitivity, you can learn to see them as valuable signals inviting you to care for and listen to yourself more deeply. This attitude of acceptance and respect strengthens a connection with your feminine energy and reduces internal conflict. Beyond the menstrual cycle, there are other important rhythms that deserve your attention. For example, the lunar cycles, which have long been associated with feminine energy and its fluctuations. Synchronizing with the moon's phases can help you amplify your intentions, plan projects, or simply connect with greater rhythm that supports and guides you. In daily life, honoring your cycle also means adjusting your activities to your energy needs. For example, during times of greater vitality, you can focus on creative, social, or physical tasks, while in more introspective phases, it's valuable to prioritize rest, meditation, or self-care. This flexibility helps you avoid burnout and maintain a healthy balance. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that accepting impermanence is a key lesson for living fully. Change is inevitable and necessary for growth. When you embrace this reality, you stop resisting your fluctuations and start flowing with them, which brings a deep sense of freedom and inner peace. This reconnection with your cycles also has a direct impact on your physical and emotional health. Many women experience uncomfortable or even painful symptoms during certain phases of the menstrual cycle, but with proper understanding and care, these symptoms can be eased or transformed into signals showing what you need at each moment. For example, increasing hydration, getting more rest, or doing gentle exercise. Learning to honor your cycle is a process of self-discovery and self-compassion that requires patience and attention. It's not about changing overnight, but about observing yourself, asking questions, and adjusting with love. You can keep a journal where you record your emotions, energy levels, and physical sensations to identify patterns and better understand your needs. Another important dimension is your relationship with sexuality. Feminine energy is linked to creativity and reproductive capacity, but it goes far beyond sexual activity. Honoring your cycle also means honoring your desire, your boundaries, and your pleasure in every moment. Listening to how your sexual desire shifts throughout your cycle allows you to live your sexuality more consciously and satisfyingly. Moreover, this practice enhances your connection with intuition and inner wisdom. When you respect and synchronize with your cycles, you become more receptive to internal and external signals, strengthening your ability to make decisions aligned with your well-being and purpose. Honoring your cycle is both a political and spiritual act. It is a way of reclaiming your feminine power in a world that has often tried to standardize and silence these natural expressions. It is a step toward personal and collective liberation that invites other women to do the same, creating a movement of deep reconnection and healing. Recognizing the influence of these rhythms in your daily life allows you to adapt your pace, your activities, and your self-care, generating well-being and a deep connection with yourself. A very useful tool is creating a cyclical journal where you not only track the dates of your menstruation, but also record your emotions, energy levels, dreams, appetite, and any physical or emotional symptoms you experience. This practice helps you identify patterns that guide you in anticipating and respecting your needs. It also helps you stop seeing changes as obstacles or problems, and instead view them as part of a natural and valuable process. For example, during the follicular phase, which follows menstruation, there is usually an increase in energy and mental clarity, making it ideal for starting projects, socializing, and making important decisions. Recognizing this allows you to plan activities that require focus and effort. In contrast, during the luteal phase after ovulation, it is common to feel more emotionally sensitive and in need of rest, which invites you to slow down and prioritize self-care. Mario Alonso Puig points out that understanding and accepting these cycles allows for alignment with your own nature and with the cycles of the earth and cosmos, creating a harmony that reflects in all areas of life. This synchrony facilitates emotional and physical balance, reducing stress and improving overall health. Honoring your cycle also means mindfully caring for your diet. During different phases of the menstrual cycle, nutritional needs vary, so adjusting your diet can be an act of respect and self-love. For example, during menstruation, it is beneficial to consume foods rich in iron and vitamins that support energy recovery, while during ovulation, antioxidant and anti-inflammatory foods can enhance vitality and mental clarity. Additionally, integrating self-care practices like herbal baths, massages, or gentle exercises specific to each phase enhances a connection with your body and supports well-being. These activities not only relieve discomfort, but also serve as rituals that honor your femininity and cyclical nature. The relationship with the moon is another dimension that many women find enriching. Observing the lunar phases and their correspondence with your own cycle can be a way to expand awareness and connect with ancestral traditions. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that this connection with natural cycles enhances neuroplasticity and emotional well-being, strengthening feminine energy. Likewise, honoring your cycle is an act of autonomy and empowerment. By knowing and respecting yourself, you can set healthy boundaries in your relationships and activities, avoiding burnout and disconnection. This respect is also reflected in how you communicate with others, expressing your needs clearly and assertively. On an emotional level, learning to navigate fluctuations without judging or blaming yourself is essential. Many women experience intense feelings during certain phases and may feel overwhelmed or misunderstood. However, by integrating cyclical wisdom, these emotions become tools for deepening self-knowledge and authentic expression. Mario Alonso Puig also notes that this integration has a positive impact on self-esteem and the sense of belonging, as by honoring your cycles, you reconnect with an ancestral tradition and a community of women who have lived these experiences throughout history. As you progress on this path to connect with your feminine energy, we now arrive at the sixth step, expressing your creativity. Feminine energy is inherently creative, fertile, and expansive. It is not limited only to traditional art, but manifests in all new ways of thinking, living, and being. Awakening and nurturing this creativity is vital for releasing your inner power and living with authenticity and fulfillment. Mario Alonso Puig reminds us that creativity is not a gift reserved for a chosen few, but fundamental human capacity that we all possess. The difference lies in how we cultivate and express it. For women, reconnecting with creativity is also a way of reconnecting with their feminine essence, that inexhaustible source of life, innovation, and transformation. Creativity is activated when we allow the mind and body to break free from the chains of perfectionism, fear of judgment, and limiting beliefs that tell us we are not enough or that we lack talent. This step invites you to let go of those inner voices that censor and restrict, and instead make space for experimentation, play, and mistakes as natural parts of the creative process. In practice, expressing your creativity can take many forms. It does not necessarily mean painting a picture or writing a novel. It can be as simple as reinventing your daily routine, cooking with new ingredients, decorating a space, dancing freely, or finding innovative solutions in your work or personal life. What matters is that it is an authentic and enjoyable expression that comes from within. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that creativity is a manifestation of the mind in a state of full connection with the present and with emotion. When you are in that state, your thinking expands, fresh ideas arise, and unexpected paths open. This connection is a direct reflection of feminine energy flowing without blockages, in harmony with yourself and your environment. A powerful exercise to reconnect with your creativity is practicing free expression, where you allow yourself to create without expectations or define goals. For example, taking a notebook and writing or drawing whatever you feel in the moment, without analyzing or correcting. This kind of free writing or drawing liberates the subconscious and allows deep aspects of your being to emerge, which often remain hidden beneath routine and logic. Creativity is also nourished by rest and contemplation. When you allow yourself a moment of silence and pause, you create space for ideas and inspiration to arrive more easily. Creativity is not a state that can be forced, but one that is received when we are receptive and open. That is why combining moments of activity with moments of rest is essential to keep this energy alive. Mario Alonso Puig also highlights the importance of surrounding yourself with stimuli that feed your creativity. Music, art, nature, inspiring conversations. These elements act as fuel that ignite the creative spark and connect you with that part of you that dreams, imagines, and creates without limits. It is also important to understand that creativity has a positive impact on self-esteem and emotional well-being. Expressing yourself creatively connects you with your personal value and with a feeling that you are contributing something unique to the world. This experience strengthens feminine energy because it is an act of self-love and of recognizing your potential. Another valuable aspect is creativity's ability to transform problems into opportunities. When you learn to think from a creative place, you see alternatives where there were only obstacles before. This expansive vision empowers you and makes you the protagonist of your life, instead of a victim of circumstances. Finally, expressing your creativity is also a form of deep communication that transcends words. Through creation, you can express emotions, ideas, and experiences that are hard to articulate, and thus connect with others through authenticity and sensitivity. This connection amplifies your feminine energy and allows you to build more genuine and enriching relationships. In addition, by giving space to your creativity, you open a channel for self-discovery. Each piece, each project, each expression is a mirror reflecting who you are at your core. This creative process leads you to discover aspects of yourself you may not have known and to integrate experiences and emotions in a more conscious and healing way. Mario Alonso Puig also points out that creativity is a tool for resilience. In the face of challenges, the ability to reinvent yourself and find creative solutions allows you to overcome obstacles and discover new paths. This flexibility and mental openness are direct manifestations of feminine energy, which adapts and transforms without losing its essence. In short, expressing your creativity is much more than a recreational activity. It is a path to inner freedom, to connection with your feminine power, and to the expansion of your being. It invites you to play, to explore, to be brave, and to trust in your ability to create your own reality. In this space, you become the artist of your life, painting with unique and vibrant colors that only you can offer. A practical way to enhance your creativity is to incorporate daily or weekly rituals that allow you to connect with your inner world. This could mean setting aside time to paint, write, dance, sing, or any activity that sparks your interest and helps you express what you carry inside. It's not about seeking perfection or external validation, but about enjoying the process and opening yourself to what arises spontaneously, without self-censorship or judgment. This creative space becomes a refuge where you can be authentic and free, a safe place to experiment and connect with your essence. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that authentic creativity is born from play, freedom, and the absence of judgment. When you allow yourself to experiment without fear of making mistakes, without the pressure to be perfect, your feminine energy activates naturally and powerfully. This playful attitude not only stimulates the mind, but also releases tension accumulated in the body, allowing more vital and renewing energy to flow. Creative play is a channel to express emotions that we sometimes don't know how to verbalize, and this expression helps to balance the nervous system and emotional state. Another valuable strategy to feed your creativity is to connect with sources of inspiration that resonate with your essence. This may include reading books that open your mind, listening to music that moves you, visiting art exhibitions, spending time in nature, or surrounding yourself with creative people who encourage you to expand. These stimuli act as fuel that ignite the creative spark and promote an open and receptive state of mind. In addition, they allow you to break routine and discover new perspectives that enrich your expression. Expressing your creativity also involves taking the risk of stepping out of your comfort zone. Often, limiting beliefs hold you back and make you doubt your ability to create. Overcoming those blocks requires courage, perseverance, and a sincere commitment to yourself. Mario Alonso Puig points out that every small step you take toward authentic expression strengthens your confidence and amplifies your personal power. Celebrating those advances, no matter how small, is essential to maintain motivation and creative flow. Moreover, creativity is a powerful tool for emotional healing. By expressing feelings and experiences through creative means, you can process and transform difficult emotions, releasing internal burdens and creating space for peace and harmony. This process helps you integrate parts of yourself you may have neglected or ignored, contributing to deeper balance and greater self-acceptance. Conscious creation becomes an act of self-love and a path to reconcile inner aspects. Feminine energy, being connected with the ability to give life and create transformation, finds in creativity its most direct and visible manifestation. Cultivating this expression connects you with a vital flow that constantly supports and renews you, making you feel more fulfilled and aligned with your purpose. This connection not only enriches your personal life, but also positively impacts your relationships and surroundings, creating an expansive effect. A key aspect Mario Alonso Puig highlights is the importance of intention in creative expression. When you set out to create with clear intention, whether to heal, to communicate, to explore, or simply to enjoy, you channel your energy more effectively, achieving deeper and more meaningful results. This conscious link between intention and action enhances your growth and the expansion of your feminine energy. Intention becomes a compass that guides your creative process, helping you stay focused and aligned. Finally, it's important to remember that creativity is a continuous process, not a fixed outcome. There will be moments of great inspiration and others of apparent blockage, but both are necessary parts of the journey. The key is to maintain openness, patience, and commitment to yourself as you continue exploring and expressing your inner world. Perseverance and love for your creative process are essential for this expression to become a lasting source of well-being and power. Expressing your creativity allows you to live with authenticity and freedom, breaking molds and building new ways of being and relating. It is an invitation to rediscover your feminine power and to manifest it with courage and love in every area of your life. In doing so, you become the author of your story, the architect of your reality, and an inspiration for those around you. Creativity is a gift you give yourself in the world, a channel to express your deepest and most unique essence. I invite you to reflect and share in the comments what creative activity connects you most with yourself and how it makes you feel. Add an emoji that represents that creative energy in you. Your experience can inspire many other women to awaken their creative power. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe and like, so we can continue growing together on this journey. I look forward to reading your thoughts and feeling that energy vibrating in our community. Continuing this journey of connecting with your feminine energy, we now reach the 7th step, which is to surround yourself with nurturing energy. The quality of your relationships, the places you frequent, the habits you cultivate, and the content you consume have a profound impact on your emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. All of this directly affects how you feel about yourself and how your feminine energy flows. Learning to choose and cultivate an environment that uplifts you is essential to staying in balance and empowering your inner strength. Mario Alonso Puig reminds us that humans are social beings and that our well-being largely depends on quality of our connections. The people you relate to act as mirrors and as sources of energy. That's why it is vital to surround yourself with those who support, inspire, and nourish you. This step invites you to do a deep and honest assessment of who lifts you up and who dims your light, and to make conscious decisions to protect your personal and emotional space. It's important to understand that surrounding yourself with nurturing energy doesn't mean seeking perfection in relationships or eliminating all difficulty. Rather, it's about identifying patterns that negatively affect you and learning to establish healthy boundaries that protect your well-being. Feminine energy flourishes when it exists in an environment of respect, support, and understanding, where it feels safe to express and grow. In addition, the places you frequent have a significant energetic impact. Spaces filled with light, nature, harmony, and order contribute to your balance and the renewal of your energy. On the other hand, chaotic, polluted, or tense environments can create stress and disconnection. That's why creating a physical space that nurtures you is a way to honor your feminine energy and allow its full expression. The daily habits you cultivate are also part of this energetic environment. From the food you eat to the activities you do in your free time, each choice adds to or subtracts from your energy. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes the importance of incorporating practices that promote holistic health, such as gentle exercise, meditation, proper rest, and mindful eating. These habits help maintain a healthy body and mind, which are essential for feminine energy to manifest in all its strength and beauty. The content you consume, whether on social media, television, and books, or through conversations, also influences your emotional and mental state. It is vital to be selective about what you allow into your energy field. Choosing positive, inspiring messages that align with your values helps strengthen your self-esteem and support your personal growth. On the other hand, constant exposure to negative, violent, or demotivating content can create blocks and reduce your vitality. Mario Alonso Puig explains that brain neuroplasticity is a phenomenon that allows us to modify our neural connections based on experience and learning. Therefore, consciously choosing a nurturing environment not only improves your current well-being, but also reshapes your brain to support more positive emotional states, greater resilience, and creativity. This is a powerful ally for the development and expression of feminine energy. To begin this assessment and create an uplifting environment, you can start by making a list of the people, places, habits, and content that are part of your daily life. Then, observe which of these elements make you feel good, energized, and supported, and which cause fatigue, stress, or sadness. This reflection will help you make clear decisions to enhance your well-being and energy. Setting boundaries is a fundamental part of this process. Sometimes, out of fear of confrontation or feelings of guilt, we allow toxic people or situations to remain in our space. But learning to say no, to take distance, or to express your needs clearly is an act of self-love and respect for your feminine energy. This may be challenging at first, but it is essential to create a safe and nurturing space where you can grow. Additionally, cultivating authentic and meaningful relationships connects you deeply with your feminine essence. Feminine energy is nourished by mutual support, empathy, and genuine emotional connection. Sharing your dreams, fears, and joys with people who truly listen and support you strengthens your sense of belonging and encourages your continued development. Collective rituals, such as women's circles, workshops, or personal growth gatherings, are excellent spaces to nourish this energy. These environments allow for free expression, shared learning, and emotional healing, creating a support network that sustains both individual and collective paths. In this sense, it's also important to pay attention to how you communicate with yourself. The internal dialogue you maintain powerfully influences your energy. Practicing self-compassion, acknowledging your achievements, and accepting your imperfections help you build a nurturing internal relationship that is reflected in your external well-being. Mario Alonso Puig points out that authentic feminine energy manifests as a harmonious vibration that positively influences the environment. When you are aligned with yourself and surrounded by a nurturing atmosphere, you become a magnet for opportunities, meaningful connections, and enriching experiences. This resonance creates a virtuous cycle that boosts your growth and fills you with vitality. This step invites you to be conscious and active in the creation of your environment. You are not a passive victim of circumstances, but creator with the power to transform your reality by consciously choosing with whom, where, and how to live. This mindset empowers and strengthens your feminine energy, allowing you to unfold your full potential with balance and joy. Beyond identifying which people or places uplift or drain you, it's essential to build routines and spaces that support your well-being and feminine essence daily. One of the pillars of surrounding yourself with nurturing energy is conscious eating. It's not just about eating healthily, but about choosing foods that resonate with you and bring vitality and balance to your body. Cultivating a kind relationship with food, listening to your body's real needs at every moment, is an act of respect and self-love. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that the quality of what you consume directly affects your emotional and mental state, and therefore, the manifestation of your feminine energy. For example, choosing fresh, natural, and seasonal foods can help you feel lighter, with greater mental clarity and more stable energy throughout the day. Avoiding excess processed foods, sugars, and stimulants is also part of that conscious care that allows you to keep your body and mind in harmony. In addition, incorporating self-care practices that promote body-mind connection is essential. This includes not only proper rest, but also activities such as yoga, meditation, massages, or simply setting aside time for yourself. These moments are sacred because they allow you to regenerate your energy, release tension, and reconnect with your essence. Feminine energy needs these spaces for renewal to fully express itself. Engaging in outdoor activities, such as walking in nature or simply breathing fresh air, can also be a powerful way to recharge your energy and feel more connected to yourself and the natural world. Technology and social media also play an important role in your energetic environment. It's essential to manage both your screen time and the quality of the content you consume to avoid overstimulation or exposure to messages that create anxiety or insecurity. Mario Alonso Puig highlights the importance of carefully selecting your information sources and creating healthy boundaries to protect your mental and emotional space. For example, you can set specific times to check social media and prioritize following accounts that share positive, inspiring content that supports your personal growth. This conscious selection helps you avoid harmful comparisons and maintain emotional balance. The physical space where you live or work also strongly influences your energy. Creating an organized space with elements that inspire you, natural light, and comforting colors contributes to maintaining a high and positive vibration. Plants, natural scents, soft music, or personal items that make you feel good are allies in this process. By taking care of your space, you are taking care of yourself. You can dedicate time to decorating your place with objects that inspire peace and joy, and ensure the space is functional and comfortable, so you feel in harmony and at ease. Surrounding yourself with people who share your values and support your path is another key aspect. Relationships based on respect, empathy, and mutual support are endless sources of positive energy. These connections strengthen your self-esteem, encourage authenticity, and accompany you in difficult times. Mario Alonso Puig notes that these bonds generate positive neurochemistry that improves overall health and well-being. On the other hand, healthy relationships promote trust and open communication, helping create a safe space for personal and emotional growth. In contrast, it is vital to learn to identify and manage relationships that don't nurture you. This doesn't mean cutting ties abruptly or creating conflict, but rather setting clear and respectful boundaries that protect your space and energy. Saying no when something doesn't serve you or distancing yourself from toxic situations is an act of self-love and respect for your feminine energy. Recognizing when a relationship is harmful or draining can be hard, especially when it involves close ties, but it's essential for preserving your well-being. Setting healthy boundaries means clearly communicating your needs and staying firm in them, always with respect and honesty. Cultivating gratitude and presence also helps create a nourishing inner and outer environment. Appreciating what you have, valuing your achievements, and recognizing everyday blessings generate a positive vibration that attracts more of the same. Mario Alonso Puig explains that a grateful mind is more creative, resilient, and open to new opportunities, facilitating the authentic expression of your feminine power. A daily gratitude practice, whether through journaling or simply taking conscious moments to acknowledge the good, shifts your focus and strengthens your energy. Finally, it's important to remember that surrounding yourself with nourishing energy is a dynamic and ongoing process. It requires attention, commitment, and flexibility to adjust your environment as your needs and circumstances evolve. By doing so, you place yourself at the center of your own care and growth, allowing your feminine energy to flourish with harmony, strength, and joy. This commitment to yourself encourages you to live a more conscious, fulfilling life aligned with your essence. As you progress in this journey, you'll notice that not only does your personal well-being improve, but you also positively impact your surroundings, creating circles of healthy, enriching influence. Feminine energy is contagious, and when you surround yourself with elements and people who nourish it, you become a beacon of light and strength for those around you. We arrive at the 8th step, which is about inhabiting your vulnerability. In our culture, vulnerability is often associated with weakness, insecurity, or fragility, especially for women, who frequently feel pressure to show strength and control at all times. However, true feminine strength lies in the ability to open up, to be authentic, and to embrace one's emotions and fragilities without fear or judgment. Inhabiting vulnerability is an act of courage and a direct gateway to healing, authenticity, and expansion of inner power. Mario Alonso Puig points out that vulnerability is a universal human condition, not an exception, and denying it leads to isolation and suffering. On the contrary, When a woman allows herself to be vulnerable, she establishes deeper and more genuine connections with herself and with others. This openness doesn't mean losing control, but rather having the courage to show up fully, with all the light and shadow that make up the human experience. In truth, this kind of courage is a revolutionary act in a world that often expects us to hide what makes us feel fragile or insecure. Inhabiting vulnerability means allowing yourself to feel without censorship or resistance. Often, out of fear of being judged or rejected, women suppress emotions like sadness, fear, uncertainty, or insecurity. But these emotions are valuable signals that deserve to be heard and processed. Suppressing them creates energy blockages that affect not only emotional well-being, but also the full expression of feminine energy. Learning to observe these emotions with compassion, without letting them define you, is essential for living in balance and growing from authenticity. The myth of a strong woman often leads many to maintain a facade of invulnerability, which can create a deep disconnection from their own essence. Mario Alonso Puig encourages questioning this belief and recognizing that true strength is shown in the ability to be present with all emotions, even the most difficult ones. This conscious presence allows energy to flow freely, transforming vulnerability into a source of power and wisdom. By accepting that we don't always have all the answers and that it's okay to ask for help, feminine strength becomes more authentic and sustainable. A fundamental practice to inhabit your vulnerability is cultivating self-compassion. Instead of criticizing yourself for feeling fear, sadness, or insecurity, you can learn to treat yourself with tenderness and understanding, as you would a dear friend. This kind attitude toward yourself creates a safe space where emotions can arise without causing harm or judgment. Self-compassion not only eases emotional pain, but also strengthens resilience, allowing you to recover more easily in the face of adversity. Another important dimension is the expression of vulnerability through authentic communication. Sharing your feelings and experiences with trusted people builds deep, healthy bonds that strengthen your sense of belonging and support. Mario Alonso Puig highlights that this emotional connection is vital for mental and emotional balance, and that shared vulnerability forms a foundation for true and meaningful relationships. Through this honest exchange, masks fall away and a community based on honesty and mutual respect is built. Inhabiting vulnerability also means accepting not knowing and uncertainty as natural parts of life. Often, the need to control and have all the answers comes from the fear of being vulnerable. But letting go of that need and trusting the process allows you to open up to new possibilities and learning. This act of surrender is a hallmark of authentic feminine energy. Uncertainty can be seen not as a threat, but as an opportunity to grow, explore, and discover parts of yourself that were previously hidden. Moreover, vulnerability is the gateway to creativity and innovation. When you allow yourself to be open and authentic, you access an inner space where fresh ideas and original solutions are born. Creativity flourishes in the soil of authenticity and openness, free from masks and external expectations. This inner freedom is fertile ground for innovation, whether in personal projects, professional life, or the way you relate to the world. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that integrating vulnerability with strength creates a dynamic balance that enhances emotional health and personal fulfillment. This integration allows a woman to walk through life with conscious and balanced presence, able to face challenges with resilience and sensitivity. Recognizing that vulnerability and strength are not opposites but complements is a fundamental teaching for living fully and authentically. In daily practice, inhabiting vulnerability can involve moments of introspection and meditation where you allow yourself to feel and observe without trying to change anything. It can also include creative activities like writing, painting, or expressing your emotions through art, facilitating a connection with your inner world. These personal spaces are essential for self-knowledge and for developing a deeper and more loving relationship with yourself. Recognizing and honoring your vulnerability is an act of liberation and empowerment. It frees you from a need to be perfect or fulfill imposed roles and connects you with your deepest truth. This connection strengthens your feminine energy and allows you to live from a place of authenticity, love, and power. Embracing your vulnerability is opening yourself to life in all its complexity and beauty. In that act of openness, you reside in your fullest expression. Inhabiting vulnerability is not only a personal act, but a way of living that deeply impacts your connections with others and your ability to lead from authenticity. One of the most powerful ways to express vulnerability is through open and sincere communication. This involves sharing your feelings, doubts, and needs with trusted people without fear of being judged or rejected. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that when you allow yourself to show up as you are, with your light and shadows, you create a space of trust and empathy that invites others to do the same. This reciprocity strengthens bonds and creates communities where feminine energy can flourish in a safe and respectful environment. In the workplace or professional field, inhabiting vulnerability can be a challenge due to expectations of constant strength and competence. However, showing your human side, admitting mistakes, asking for help, or expressing uncertainties is a form of authentic leadership that generates respect and collaboration. Mario Alonso Puig highlights that this kind of human and approachable leadership is increasingly valued and necessary in today's environments, and that true strength lies in the ability to be vulnerable and honest. In personal relationships, embracing vulnerability allows for the building of intimacy and depth. Sharing your fears, insecurities, and desires with your partner, friends, or family without masks or defenses opens doors to genuine and healing connection. This openness also facilitates conflict resolution and the creation of spaces where everyone can feel valued and heard. Feminine energy is nourished and expanded in these environments of acceptance and unconditional love. Moreover, inhabiting vulnerability is a path toward acceptance and forgiveness, both toward yourself and toward others. Acknowledging your mistakes, limitations, and emotional wounds without guilt or judgment is a liberating act that allows you to release burdens and move forward with greater lightness. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that this acceptance process is essential for emotional healing and for cultivating solid and compassionate self-esteem. The practice of vulnerability also manifests in daily authenticity, staying true to your values, expressing your opinions with respect, showing your emotions without fear. These small but meaningful actions strengthen inner coherence and self-trust, essential pillars of feminine energy. When you live from authenticity, your presence becomes magnetic and your energy radiates with greater strength. To cultivate this practice, it's helpful to create personal rituals that connect you with your vulnerability and allow you to express it safely. This can be writing in a journal, doing conscious breathing exercises that help you feel and release emotions, or participating in women's circles where sharing is open and respectful. These activities support the development of a loving relationship with yourself and your environment. Mario Alonso Puig also points out the importance of emotional resilience, which is strengthened by accepting and inhabiting vulnerability. The ability to rise after a fall, to learn from difficult experiences, and to maintain hope is a direct reflection of feminine power expressed through conscious vulnerability. On this path, it's essential to surround yourself with people who respect and support your process of openness. The presence of allies who validate your emotions and offer a safe space to be yourself is invaluable. At the same time, learning to discern when it is time to share and when it is necessary to protect your inner space is an exercise of wisdom that contributes to your well-being. Finally, inhabiting your vulnerability is a gift you give to yourself and to those around you. It is an act of love and courage that connects you with the deepest truth of your being and allows you to live with greater fullness, authenticity, and power. By integrating this practice, you become an example of soft strength and conscious presence, opening the way for other women to also free themselves and flourish. Now then, the 9th step is to recognize your sacred worth. This step is an invitation to look within and discover that your body, your voice, your decisions, and your boundaries are sacred manifestations of your essence. Recognizing this worth is essential to empower yourself from authenticity and to live in alignment with your truth without concessions or doubts. It is an act of self-love and spiritual connection that strengthens your feminine energy and allows you to unfold your full potential. Mario Alonso Puig teaches us that sacred worth is not something acquired from the outside, but a truth inherent in every human being. This truth may be hidden or distorted by experiences, limiting beliefs, or emotional wounds, but it is always present, waiting to be acknowledged. Recognizing your sacred worth is a process of awakening, of returning to yourself, and of accepting that you deserve respect, love, and fulfillment in all areas of your life. The body is the first temple where this worth is manifested. Every cell, every heartbeat, Every movement is an expression of life and power. Often, the body is underestimated or mistreated, whether due to social pressure, negative self-image, or lack of care. However, when you begin to honor your body as a sacred space, many things change. Your relationship with yourself transforms, increasing acceptance, respect, and love toward yourself. Recognizing your body as sacred also means caring for it with awareness and tenderness, listening to its signals, nourishing it with strengthening foods, giving it rest when needed, and allowing it to express what it feels without judgment or restriction. This deep connection with your body links you to the source of your feminine energy and gives you a solid anchor to face life with strength and serenity. Speech is another key aspect of sacred worth. Your words carry power, not only to communicate, but to create reality. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes the importance of speaking truthfully and with clear intention. When you honor your word, you become coherent and authentic, which builds trust in yourself and in others. Recognizing that your voice is sacred invites you to express yourself with respect, clarity, and empowerment, without fear of being heard or defending your ideas and feelings. Making conscious decisions is also an act of acknowledging your worth. Many times, out of fear of rejection or making mistakes, you delay important decisions or act from a place of pleasing others. However, living from sacred worth means taking responsibility for your choices and trusting your ability to guide your life. This attitude connects you with your inner power and allows you to build a path that reflects your essence and purpose. Boundaries are another expression of your sacred worth. Setting them as a way of caring for yourself and protecting your energetic and emotional space. Many women fear setting boundaries out of fear of rejection or conflict, but in reality, they are acts of self-love and respect for yourself and others. Mario Alonso Puig points out that clear boundaries strengthen relationships and promote authenticity, allowing feminine energy to flow freely and in balance. Recognizing your sacred worth also means healing the wounds that may have harmed your self-esteem and perception of yourself. Forgiveness, acceptance, and compassion for your past experiences are necessary steps to release emotional burdens that block your energy. In doing so, you open up to a new version of yourself, freer, more powerful, and at peace. This recognition is a deeply spiritual act that aligns with the idea that every human being is a unique expression of life, worthy of respect, dignity, and unconditional love. By integrating this vision, your feminine energy is strengthened and expanded, illuminating your path and that of those around you. In daily practice, you can cultivate this sacred worth through powerful affirmations, self-acceptance practices, and moments of deep connection with yourself. For example, dedicating a few minutes each day to thank your body, affirm your boundaries, or acknowledge your right to choose helps you integrate this energy into your daily life. Mario Alonso Puig also suggests that recognizing sacred worth is reflected in how you care for yourself, how you speak to yourself, and how you relate to the world. When you act from this place, your presence becomes magnetic and your positive influence grows, creating a transformative impact on your surroundings. This step is a call to live with integrity and authenticity, honoring your essence and your needs with respect and love. Recognizing your sacred worth is embracing your feminine power with responsibility and gratitude, allowing yourself to live a full, rich life aligned with your truth. It means cultivating a conscious and loving relationship with yourself, acknowledging that your worth does not depend on external factors, but is inherent to your being. One of the most important aspects of living from your sacred worth is learning to trust your intuition and inner wisdom. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that when you recognize the value of your inner voice, you connect with a deep source of power that guides your decisions and actions. This trust allows you to act with confidence and coherence, even in the face of challenges or uncertainty, strengthening your presence and leadership capacity. Moreover, recognizing your sacred worth means accepting your limits and respecting your timing. Instead of fighting your needs or trying to please everyone, you allow yourself to honor what you truly need to feel well. This attitude of self-respect prevents burnout and energy dispersion, allowing you to maintain a state of balance and wellness that supports the full expression of your feminine energy. Self-acceptance is another essential dimension in this process. Often, rejection or criticism of certain aspects of yourself blocks your energy and limits your potential. Mario Alonso Puig notes that the conscious practice of accepting all parts of yourself, including imperfections and shadows, is a path to healing and integration. This acceptance creates an internal space of peace and love that reflects in your attitude and your relationships. Recognizing your sacred worth also translates into the ability to build healthy and balanced relationships. By being in touch with yourself and valuing who you are, you choose relationships that respect, support, and nurture you. These relationships create an ideal environment for your feminine energy to expand and strengthen. In addition, living from sacred worth enables you to communicate clearly and assertively, setting boundaries that protect your space and emotional well-being. In the professional realm, this recognition motivates you to pursue projects and environments aligned with your values and purpose. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that when you work from authenticity and self-worth, you not only achieve better results, but you also enjoy the process and contribute your unique essence. This connection to your value allows you to overcome the fear of failure and act with confidence and determination. Another essential aspect is the care and respect for your body, which is a sacred vessel where your feminine energy resides. Honoring your body involves adopting habits that strengthen it, respecting its cycles and needs, and acknowledging its importance in your overall well-being. Mario Alonso Puig highlights that this body-mind connection is key to maintaining vitality and inner harmony. Recognizing your sacred worth is also an act of liberation from the social and cultural expectations that often limit women. Breaking free from mandates that try to define who you should be or how you should act allows you to live with authenticity and freedom. This act of conscious rebellion is a fundamental step toward empowerment and living in alignment with your truth. Spirituality is another dimension enriched by this recognition. Feeling that you are a sacred manifestation of life connects you with a broader purpose and fills your life with meaning. Mario Alonso Puig mentions that this spiritual connection strengthens feminine energy and encourages you to live with greater commitment and gratitude, both with yourself and the world around you. In practice, integrating the sacred worth into your daily life may include personal care rituals, positive affirmations, meditations, and moments of reflection that connect you with your essence. These spaces help you remember who you truly are and strengthen your relationship with yourself, generating a positive impact in all areas of your life. Recognizing your sacred worth is a path to freedom and fulfillment. It invites you to live from a place of deep self-love, responsibility, and authenticity. This step allows you to unfold your feminine energy with strength, harmony, and beauty, becoming an empowered woman who inspires and transforms. We now arrive at the final step of this powerful path to connect with your feminine energy, which is surrendering to the mystery. This step is a deep invitation to let go of control, surrender to the invisible, and trust the process of life, understanding that we cannot always have all the answers or control every detail. Surrendering to mystery means embracing uncertainty with courage and openness, allowing the magic and wisdom of the universe to guide your path in an organic and loving way. Mario Alonso Puig reminds us that life is full of aspects beyond our logical and rational understanding, and that trying to control everything can lead to anxiety, frustration, and disconnection. Instead, when you learn to trust and surrender to mystery, a space opens for feminine energy to flow freely, revealing possibilities you could not have imagined from a limited mind. This surrender is an act of faith and courage that connects you with the deep essence of existence. Surrendering to the mystery does not mean passivity or giving up, but rather an active stance of openness and acceptance. It is living with the trust that every experience, even the difficult ones, has a purpose and that the universe conspires in your favor, even if you can't always see it in the moment. This attitude allows you to navigate life with more serenity and flexibility, adapting to change without losing your center or your power. In this process, surrender becomes a liberating act. Letting go of the need to control every situation, to predict all outcomes, and to resist the unknown frees you from unnecessary burdens. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that this release of control is fundamental to connecting with inner wisdom and for feminine energy to manifest in all its power and beauty. Surrendering to the mystery also means trusting yourself and your capacity to face what comes. It is an invitation to develop a deep faith in your inner power and in life itself, recognizing that although the path is not always clear, you have the strength to walk it with dignity and love. This trust generates a state of presence and openness that allows your intuition and creativity to fully unfold. Often, fear, the unknown, or the need for certainty blocks us and distances us from our feminine power. However, when you embrace the mystery, you learn to see the beauty in impermanence and in constant transformation. This shift in perspective allows you to live more lightly and joyfully, enjoying the process without clinging to fixed outcomes. Mario Alonso Puig also highlights that surrendering to the mystery is a way to connect with your spirituality and with the universal energy that sustains life. This connection opens you to receive guidance, inspiration, and support from greater dimensions, strengthening your path and personal growth. Living from this connection allows you to experience an expansion of your being and a deep integration with existence. In practice, this step can manifest through meditation, prayer, contemplation, or any practice that helps you calm the mind and open the heart. These moments of silence and presence allow you to release control and open yourself to the wisdom that arises from inner stillness. Surrendering to the mystery becomes a loving dialogue between your essence and the universe. It is also important to cultivate patience and acceptance in this process. Often, we want immediate results or clear answers, but life has its own timing and rhythms. Mario Alonso Puig invites us to honor these times and to trust that each stage is necessary for your evolution. This deep acceptance is an act of love and respect for yourself and for the path you are walking. This step also invites you to recognize that magic and mystery are present in the small details and in everyday experiences. Learning to see life with eyes of wonder and gratitude opens the door to a richer and fuller experience, where each moment is an opportunity to connect with your feminine energy and with the essence of life itself. Surrendering to the mystery is an act of transformation that allows you to live with authenticity, trust, and fulfillment. It frees you from the rigidity of control and opens you to the expansion of your being, allowing feminine energy to manifest in all its greatness and beauty. This surrender connects you with the creative force that sustains life and drives you to live with purpose and passion. It invites you to live in harmony with uncertainty, recognizing that life is a constant flow that cannot be fully controlled or predicted. Mario Alonso Puig reminds us that when we stop resisting what we don't understand and learn to trust the process, we open ourselves to a more authentic and enriching experience. Feminine energy finds in this openness a fertile space to express itself, as it is not based on rigid control, but on fluidity and acceptance. This fluidity means letting go of the mental and emotional rigidity that often ties us to fixed expectations and specific outcomes. By surrendering to the mystery, you allow yourself to flow with changes, adapt to new circumstances, and discover unexpected paths that may lead to more enriching and satisfying places. This spontaneous movement is a direct expression of feminine energy that knows how to dance with life instead of fighting against it. Surrendering to the mystery also strengthens your emotional resilience. Instead of fearing challenges or uncertainty, you learn to see them as opportunities for growth and transformation. Mario Alonso Puig emphasizes that this attitude allows you to face difficulties with an open mind and a courageous heart, increasing your capacity to heal and renew yourself. Another essential aspect is trusting your own inner wisdom and your connection with the universe. Surrendering to the mystery is not passive resignation, but an active expression of faith in yourself and in life. This trust supports you in moments of doubt and propels you forward with hope and determination, even when the path is not completely clear. Practicing surrender to the mystery can include techniques such as meditation, contemplation, free writing, or any activity that allows you to connect with your deep essence and listen to the voice of your intuition. These moments of silence and presence are essential to cultivate the trust and openness necessary to fully live this step. Mario Alonso Puig also suggests that surrender to mystery is a continuous process that requires patience and dedication. It is not about reaching a permanent state of certainty, but about learning to dance with uncertainty and to find beauty in the journey more than in the destination. This perspective transforms your relationship with time, expectations, and the very process of life. Moreover, this surrender connects you with the spiritual dimension of existence, inviting you to recognize that you are part of a greater whole that supports and guides you. This connection expands your vision and fills you with meaning, strengthening your feminine energy and your ability to manifest your dreams and purposes from a place of alignment and harmony. Finally, living surrender to mystery is an act of deep freedom and authentic power. It frees you from the chains of excessive control and opens you to the full and rich experience of life. This surrender is a culmination of a process of connection with your feminine energy, allowing you to live with passion, creativity, and trust, unfolding your whole being in each moment. We have traveled a deep and transformative path through these 10 steps to connect with your feminine energy and unleash your full power. Each step has been an invitation to return to yourself, to recognize your essence, to heal, and to expand your inner light with courage and love. From letting go of the musts to surrendering to the mystery, this journey not only strengthens your energy, but prepares you to live from a place of authenticity, wholeness, and freedom. Recognizing the importance of releasing limiting beliefs that keep you trapped in self-demand and control has allowed you to make space for acceptance and trust in your own rhythm. By reconnecting with your body, you have learned to listen to its signals, to inhabit it with respect and tenderness, understanding that it is a temple where your deepest wisdom resides. Intuition, that inner compass we often ignore, now stands as a beacon guiding your decisions from a place of clarity and power. Embracing non-doing, honoring your cycle, and expressing your creativity are sacred acts that invite you to live in harmony with your natural rhythms and unfold your creative capacity. Surround yourself with nourishing energy, caring not only for what surrounds you, but also for what you allow into your mind and heart, creating an environment conducive to the blooming of your feminine essence. Dwelling in your vulnerability and recognizing your sacred value have taught you that strength and openness are two sides of the same coin, and that living in coherence with your truth gives you an authentic and indestructible power. Finally, surrendering to the mystery means trusting life, yourself, and the process of constant transformation. It is allowing magic, inspiration, and universal wisdom to accompany you, freeing you from the weight of control and opening you to the full and enriching experience of being a woman with all her dimensions and potential. This journey does not end here. Integrating these learnings into your daily life is the true challenge and the real reward. Each step is a practice you can cultivate constantly, adjusting to your needs and timing, honoring your uniqueness and your evolution. Feminine energy is not a static state, but a living flow that renews with each experience, with each conscious decision, and with every act of self-love. By living from this energy, not only do you transform your life, but you also become a beacon for other women, inspiring them to discover and honor their own power. This collective expansion creates a movement of healing and empowerment that transcends generations and cultures, reminding us that we are part of a living network of strong, wise, and free women. Furthermore, living from your strengthened feminine energy also impacts your personal, family, and professional relationships. The authenticity that emerges when connecting with your inner power improves the quality of your bonds, creating spaces of respect, understanding, and mutual support. The energy you radiate positively influences those around you, generating a transformation that goes beyond yourself. I want to thank you for joining me on this journey and for allowing yourself to open these inner doors that lead to your feminine power. Remembering and honoring your essence is an act of bravery and deep love that deserves to be celebrated every day. Keep nurturing your connection, trust in yourself and in life, and allow your energy to shine with intensity and beauty in everything you do. If this video has inspired you and you believe these teachings can help other women awaken their power, I invite you to share it with them. Don't forget to subscribe so we can continue growing, learning, and expanding our energy. Give it a like so more people can find this valuable content, and leave the word radiance in the comments if you want to receive a special greeting in the next video. I look forward to reading you and accompanying you on this path of transformation and power. Thank you for being part of this community and for honoring your feminine power every day. See you soon, luminous woman.